Former USC President Stephen Sample has died. We'll look back at his accomplishments and hear from USC faculty.
Half a dozen swastikas found across USC's campus and dozens more at universities around the country. I'll ask DPS what they're doing about it and talk to one expert who says this is all because of the presidential race.
Sidewalks across Los Angeles will soon get some major repairs after the city council approves millions of dollars to fix them.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
USC President Emeritus Stephen Sample has died at the age of 75. Good evening, I'm Taylor Etchell.
And I'm Ivana Nguyen. Sample served as a university president from 1991 to 2010. He is remembered as a visionary for USC and a key figure in the transformation of the university.
Stephen Sample is credited with the dramatic rise of USC's reputation as a highly selective university. Sample held the presidency for 19 years. Sample's cause of death has not yet been released. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2001, but remained active as president for another 9 years. Sample is credited with transforming USC into a high-ranking university. He also increased its global reach. Under Sample, USC was named College of the Year by both Time Magazine and the Princeton Review.
My proudest achievement would be the turnaround in undergraduate education. And what I like the best out of all that is the Renaissance Scholars Program, where unlike any other university in the United States, we say to students, major in whatever you will, but then choose a minor, please, that's as far removed from your major as possible. We want to stretch you out intellectually and academically. It's been a great success. Hundreds and hundreds of students have followed that course.
During Sample's presidency, he oversaw a landmark fundraising campaign that raised a whopping $2.85 billion. This made USC the only university to receive 4 separate 9-figure donations in one single campaign. Sample also helped double sponsored research to $430 million per year and opened many new facilities on campus, including Levy Library. President Max Nikias issued a statement saying Sample was a key member of the Trojan family. Quote, Dr. Sample was a very special human being and a charismatic presence on our campuses. He stood over our Trojan family and commanded that rare mixture of admiration, affection, and authority. I know so many Trojans around the world join Nikki and me in sending heartfelt condolences to his wife and the entire Sample family.
He had a vision for the university that it was already great, but it could be greater. His phrase was building on excellence. And so much of what people take for granted at USC today were things that Steve Sample did. The quality of the student body, the range of the courses, the fundraising, the innovations, so many of them were done under Steve Sample's leadership.
Sample is survived by his wife, Catherine, 2 daughters, and 2 grandchildren.
Universities across the country are responding tonight to anti-Semitic flyers found on campuses, and USC is no exception. Annenberg Media's Cole Sullivan is live in the Media Center with more. Cole?
That's right, Ivana. A white supremacist group hacked printers just like this one at Brown, Princeton, and other universities across the country, including USC. By controlling the network access, they were able to print dozens of anti-Semitic flyers across USC's campus. But that's not all. In the last 2 weeks, there have been 2 swastikas reported drawn on the walls of USC campus buildings.
There have been a couple isolated incidents of hatred or ignorance being doodled or left on printers on our campus.
2 swastikas in the last 2 weeks. One drawn on a poster in a freshman dorm hallway, the other in a men's restroom in the business school. Bailey London is the executive director of Hillel at USC.
And people are a little uneasy. It doesn't feel good to have your identity threatened and have violent statements stated against your identity.
DPS says with incidents like this, there's not much that can be done.
It's always difficult if they're not seen in progress or there's some sort of video evidence. So most of the time, it's documented, but tough to solve that crime.
But it's not just USC that's had incidents of hate over the last 2 weeks. Over the weekend, hundreds of flyers were discovered at schools across the country with swastikas and anti-Semitic messages.
We have seen in the last week or so quite a lot of neo-Nazi flyers being faxed by an automatic hackers program to a large number of printers.
Mark Potog with the Southern Poverty Law Center says this kind of hate speech is happening more and more often, and he blames one person in particular.
What is going on is there's a great deal of excitement in the white supremacist world over the candidacy of Donald Trump. White nationalists, white supremacists around the country think that Donald Trump is absolutely their man.
London says no matter the cause, she was comforted by the university's response to the incidents.
I mean, it's a horrible, horrible thing, but I can't feel more supported and comforted and safe.
And DPS says they've isolated the IP address that hackers use to get into printers like this one, so there shouldn't be any more racist flyers popping up around campus. As for the swastikas drawn on the walls, Deputy Chief Carlisle says they're treating it as an act of vandalism. Live in the Julie Chen, Leslie Moonves, and CBS Media Center, I'm Cole Sullivan. Back to you.
Thanks, Cole. The hijacking of an Egyptian plane was ended with all passengers freed and the hijackers surrendering. Egypt Air Flight MS-181 was diverted to Cyprus by a man claiming to be wearing a suicide explosive belt. It was later found to be fake. The Cyprus president said the incident was not terror-related and said the hijacker was demanding a meeting with his ex-wife who lives in Cyprus. He is now in custody. Egypt's foreign ministry told a Cairo-based journalist, quote, "He's not a terrorist, he's an idiot," end quote.
There are new concerns tonight about the security of the iPhone, one day after the FBI said a third party was able to bypass the encryption on the phone. Annenberg Media's Ryan Thompson shows us why some are worried about privacy.
iPhone users have always trusted that once their phone locks, their data is secure. But now, that might not be the case. The FBI says that a third party has bypassed the iPhone's encryption, giving the FBI access to the digital life of San Bernardino terrorism suspect Saeed Farouk, all without even knowing his 4-digit passcode.
Apple's got a real marketing problem because it sells security, and if somebody's able to hack it, there is no security.
iPhones are everywhere at USC, and most students choose to encrypt theirs with a passcode. But now that technology exists to bypass the security feature altogether, students say that they feel a bit uneasy.
I think it's kind of scary because, we don't know, we don't have any privacy anymore. They can access anything if they want to.
It definitely brings the security of your iPhone into question. I'm happy that Apple didn't cave into the FBI's demand.
This is a very big step towards something that could potentially be something that we would regret in a few generations down.
Apple responded to the news by reiterating their commitment to protecting civil liberties. In a statement, they said, Apple believes deeply that people in the United States and around the world deserve data protection, security, and privacy. Sacrificing one for the other only puts people and countries at greater risk. The FBI has not released any details about who cracked the phone or what methods they used, but amid speculation that the hack didn't even take place, cybersecurity experts like Peter Reens insist that it is possible.
Creativity is a real big deal when you're talking about breaking computer security, and it's possible that somebody out there has a wonderful creative way to do this that other people just didn't think of. They tried it, it worked, and maybe they made it available to the FBI.
For Annenberg Media, I'm Ryan Thompson.
Donald Trump's campaign manager was charged with battery today after a reporter said he grabbed her at a Trump event. The Florida Police Department released a surveillance video from a campaign event earlier this month. The footage appears to show Trump's campaign manager Corey Lewandowski grabbing a news reporter who tried to ask Trump a question. Trump took to Twitter to defend Lewandowski. He tweeted, quote, "Wow, Corey Lewandowski, my campaign manager and a very decent man, was just charged with assaulting a reporter. Look at tapes, nothing there." Lewandowski is expected to appear in court to plead not guilty of the charges on May 4th.
Community leaders organized a voter education and registration rally at the RFK High School in Los Angeles this afternoon. Youth leaders from an advocacy group called Children Over Politics collaborated with California Secretary of State Alex Padilla to organize the event. Their goal was to inform students about the voting process as well as give them an opportunity to register.
It's important to let students know of the power they hold, something that's an inherent right to them.
You know, this is a group that is not registered at a very high rate and doesn't vote at a very high rate. If we can motivate young people enough to vote their first time and their second time, hopefully we'll make very regular voters out of them for the rest of their lives.
What I got out of this event was actually I registered to vote because I wasn't going to do it. Like, I had no plan on it. This organization would have never came to my school.
Newly registered voters will have a chance to cast their ballots for the first time in the presidential primary in June.
Oscar-winning actress Patty Duke has died at the age of 69 after contracting sepsis from a ruptured intestine. The 69-year-old was known for her on-screen performance as Helen Keller in the movie The Miracle Worker, and later for her long-running television program, The Patty Duke Show. Duke battled bipolar disorder and became an advocate for those with mental illness. Duke is survived by her husband, Michael Pierce. The LA City Council approved a $30 million a year plan today to repair sidewalks across the city. Chris Porter reports it's a major step to fix a decades-old problem.
Sidewalks like these in South LA have long been a problem. That's why the City Council voted today to spend more than $1 billion over the next 3 decades to fix them.
40 years of stagnation and unacceptable status quo of having a crumbling, inaccessible sidewalk system is now going to be changed. And we are now turning the corner and finally taking the bull by the horns and fixing this problem once and for all.
Some homeowners say the city has yet to take action on its repeated promises to repair its broken streets. They feel as if the actions come a little bit too late.
I feel like I won't be able to enjoy it, but somebody will enjoy it, and that'll be good. Because at least you won't have to try to find a place to put your foot when you get in and out of a car or try to cross the street.
In 2010, an LA-based disability group filed a lawsuit against the city and county for discrimination against people with disabilities. The suit alleged the city wasn't addressing the needs of people with disabilities. Problems like broken sidewalks make it harder for them to get around.
This is about people, getting hurt on those horrible sidewalks. This is about saving lives, preventing disability, and this is about doing the right thing. We have to have an accessible, people-friendly Los Angeles.
Under the council's plan, the city will be responsible for the first repairs. After that, property owners will have to foot the bill for fixing sidewalks. For Annenberg Media, I'm Chris Porter.
The Stop USC Tuition Hikes Coalition organized a call-in protest this afternoon. Organizers urged supporters to call President Keyes' office in an effort to stop tuition hikes for next year.
At the last rally, we even heard stories from students who are starving, who can't have to choose between eating and studying and going to school and working and making these impossible choices that no student really should ever have to make. And it's incredibly irresponsible for the university to not take any of that into account and to not at least address that this is a reality that their students are facing.
The coalition is taking measures now in the hope that the university will listen to prevent future student action. We reached out to the administration and did not receive a comment. State officials released an audit of the University of California system today, sharply criticizing the standards used to admit out-of-state students. The audit concluded UC schools used lower admission standards for non-resident students, with applicants from California being turned away. The number of non-resident students at UC schools has increased 82% between 2010 and 2015. The report found that in-state enrollment increased by only 10% over the last 10 years. The audit found the university also admitted 16,000 non-residents whose scores fell below the median of Californian students. Assemblyman Mike Gibson called for the audit.
I think in-state should be the priority, but out-of-state kids should be able to come here. But I think it totally makes sense if they cap it.
I really do feel like the school should select students based on who they are, their capabilities, what they've achieved. Obviously, that's not always the case because, school does need money to run and, pay all these professors, get all these books out to kids and whatnot. But
both sides of the argument, I think there's a revenue going in and out, so I don't think there's a true loss.
The audit recommends stricter entrance requirements and a cap on enrollment for out-of-state students. UC System President Janet Napolitano said in a statement that the audit's conclusions ignored the massive data the university has collected and presented.
USC takes a stand in the wake of the Syrian crisis by providing Syrian students with academic scholarships. Reaction is coming up.
California residents are excited for the increase in minimum wage, but how will this affect student workers on campus?
And USC's Lambda Chi fraternity partners with a nonprofit to bring books to a local elementary school.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work, show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up 1 finger if you're a man, women 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now, so 1 more finger if you're not very active. 1 finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
USC work-study students may soon see a pay raise under California's plan to increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2022. Undergraduate students are paid for their work on an hourly basis. Schools are required by law to pay student workers at least the federal minimum wage, but USC does a little more.
So student workers at USC are subject to the California minimum wage standards, so we'll make sure that students are paid the appropriate wage. For instance, right now, California minimum wage is $10, while the federal wage is $7.25.
Whether students can work more than their allotted sum of money is up to the department. Here at USC, students are often granted more money for more hours of work. Trojans in the work-study program will benefit from increased minimum wage in the coming years.
USC will give scholarships to at least 3 Syrian students a year under an agreement between the university and the graduate student government to give more resources to refugee students. The Dean of Religious Life at USC says he will ensure these students have the resources they need.
If you are a refugee, you're already in a very difficult situation. We're not just bringing them here for the sake of bringing them here, we're bringing them here to support them to get a degree and to become global citizens and to bring their talents and gifts to the table as a resource for all of us. So it's not just bringing students here, it's actually creating the conditions on the ground necessary for their success.
USC officials agree, quote, "This is a worthy cause and one that is consistent with our values and our goal of becoming the leading private institution dedicated to the global public good." Both undergraduate and graduate students can apply for the scholarships for the upcoming school year. 62 universities already award scholarships to Syrian students.
Well, that's great to hear. Outside, Taylor, it's been so windy.
Windy and cold. But let's check in with our weather anchor, Jasmine Kianford, to see if the temperatures are going to heat up.
Yeah, hey guys, so it has been pretty windy out there and it has been a little bit cloudier. We've been seeing the sun kind of peek in and out. Let's go ahead and take a look at our current temperatures and see where we stand right now. We are at 71 degrees, so it is a little bit cooler than what we were used to seeing yesterday. The winds were pretty high, but they did slow down for today. Let's go ahead and take a look at tomorrow's temperatures. I do believe we have a warm up coming up. Down in Palm Springs, 88 for tomorrow. Up in Big Bear, 53. San Bernardino and Riverside, you're both kind of looking at those mid 70s, so it's nice down for you guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at the coast and see how Malibu is looking. We are give them a second. I apologize for that technical difficulty. But it was looking like Malibu was kind of in those low 60s. Simi Valley, I believe, was also kind of in those low 60s and 70s as well. Why don't I toss it back to you guys, and we might come back to our weather report. Sorry about that, guys.
Again, apologies once again for the technical difficulties with the weather. There's nothing there. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Got things working right now. A new report released by the California Budget and Policy Center looks at the status of women in California. It uses data to reach each county on how women fare using 5 different metrics.
By providing county-level data, we're actually enabling communities to look at what are the needs that they're facing and what are the types of steps they can be taking, whether through policy change or through improved and strengthened services, to address the needs identified by the index.
According to the report, Marin County is the best county for women's well-being. LA County ranks 31 on the list. Well, we're hearing there's some good news about our men's basketball coach.
Let's catch up with our sports anchor, Ty Hawkins, for the latest.
Good news is right, as the USC men's basketball team announced a big decision regarding head coach Andy Enfield's future. The baseball team looks to add to their 4-game home win streak tonight as they host Loyola Marymount. And women's lacrosse looks to stay undefeated. Pull up a chair and I'll tell you all about it. ATVN Sports is next.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
What does 3 wins over UCLA, a 20-plus win season, and a ticket punched to the NCAA tournament mean? Job security. Today, USC men's basketball coach Andy Enfield received a contract extension through 2021. After leaving Florida Gulf Coast University, Enfield has completed his 3rd year here at USC. The coach finally got his recruits to run his fast-paced offense, and it shows. Fans experienced a huge turnaround and reveled in the winning results of his hard work. Athletic Director Pat Hayden says they're excited about the program's direction, adding he hopes the stability will allow more continued success. Fresh off his Pac-12 Player of the Week honors, center fielder Timmy Robinson and the Trojans baseball team returned to Dado Field tonight to host Loyola Marymount, where the bats just got cracking. Robinson leads the Trojans with 20 runs batted in and 5 home runs. Currently, the score is 0-0. How do I know? It's simple. ATVN's Natalie Calabat just texted me. That's teamwork. That's how we roll at ATVN. The Trojans are riding a 4-game home win streak headed into tonight's contest. In their last meeting in February, the Trojans won 4-3. Life is full of peaks and valleys, and consistency is vital for growth in any environment. This is also true in college sports. And as the wins continue to pile up for the number 8 ranked women's lacrosse team, the message stays the same.
I think this is our best year consistency-wise. Obviously, we've had our ups and downs, but I think we've done the best we've ever done with consistency.
We're competing really, really hard in practice, and I think that preparation is the reason and the key to our success.
Up next for the team is a trip to Central California, where they'll face the Fresno State Bulldogs this Friday at 5. The USC Trojans football coaches clinic kicks off this weekend at the John McKay Center on campus, led by head coach Clay Helton. The clinic will include presentations from Helton, his offensive and defensive staff, and position coaches. The clinic will also feature LA Rams head coach Jeff Fisher. The clinic is open to coaches of all levels, along with fans who want to learn about the USC coaching staff. The U.S. men's national soccer team is wrapping up a crucial World Cup qualifier against Guatemala. After the Americans lost the match 2-0 on Friday, the team's odds of making it to Russia in 2018 are in jeopardy. So let's take a look at the score right now. USA is currently leading 3-0 with #minutes to play, which I think that means that's a win. With 4 different Americans scoring, their offense looks to have rebounded after Friday's loss. The victory gives Team USA a needed booster for their World Cup hopes. USA hasn't missed a World Cup in 30 years, in 1986 to be exact.
Well, Enfield's contract extended. What do you think that means for the future of USC basketball, men's basketball?
I think it's really good for men's basketball. It gives stability. Some recruits are going to want to come here, and he's turning things around, I think.
That's good. What do you think about it?
Well, I think more guys will want to come to USC to play on the basketball team.
For sure. Thanks so much, Ty.
Thanks, Ty. Kids at a Los Angeles elementary school have a new place to read. We'll have more on this coming up. A new library opened at the Los Angeles.
The earthquakes you see in movies are one thing, but real life is a completely different animal. Just because you can't predict an earthquake doesn't mean that you can't prepare for one. In the event of a real earthquake, you should drop, cover, and hold on. Visit ready.gov/earthquake and practice what to do to keep you and your family safe in the event of a real earthquake. And you'll be seen as a hero by your family and your loved ones.
Visit ready.gov/earthquake today.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
What's up? What's happening today? Let's hit those pearly whites, man. Yeah. The boys, check it out. Stand up, do my challenge, go compare us.
Ooh, cute.
Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
Hey girl, what's up? What's the name? What's good? What's up?
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Sir, go and step out of the vehicle for me.
Yes, sir. See ya, buddy. Today, Sean's got a hearing. We'll see how it goes. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
A new library opened at the Los Angeles Learning Academy today in Lincoln Heights, bringing joy to young students. The nonprofit Wijaba and the Lambda Chi Alpha Fraternity chapter at USC helped build the new library, which gives the 600 students at the school a place to read.
That's really nice of them. I've actually participated in that philanthropy event once, and it was really nice to see all of the kids participate and be eager to read for sure. Yeah.
Oh, good for you. Yeah.
Sure. Well, guys, thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. For everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Taylor Etchell.
And I'm Ivana Nguyen.